Hi, fourth grade, and welcome back to Math with Mr. G. Today we're going to be continuing our work with rounding in week 2, day 4. Today's objective is just like yesterday's in that we're using place value understanding to round multi-digit whole numbers to any place. Before we get started with today's work, I want to review yet again our rounding rules. We're going to continue reviewing these every day that we go through because rounding is a series of steps that can be best learned through repetition and practice, like most things with math, but in rounding's case, it is especially so. So let's look at our rounding rules. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit here. So step 1, find the rounding place and circle it. So in this case, we have 125 and we're rounding to the tens place. So we circle our 2 or 20. Step 2, we're going to go next door. We're going to look one place value to the right and underline that digit. In this case, it is a 5. Step 3, ask yourself, is this number 4 or less or 5 or more? In the case of 5, it is indeed 5 or more, so we're going to raise the score, which of course rhymes with the 5 or more part. And we're not raising the score of the 5. We're raising the score of the tens place. We're bringing this 2 up to a 3. So it becomes 130 because the place value here on the right gets turned to a 0. In fact, all place values to the right get turned to 0, just like we saw on that last video. So let's look at a couple examples today that mix this up a little bit. Just get that into place. Great. All right, so let's start. Yep, I have my blue marker. It's always my favorite. I'm going to round this to the nearest thousand. So I have 4 numbers here. So I'm going to circle my thousands place, which in this case is the 5. I'm going to look next door, which is the 3. 3 is 4 or less, so I'm going to let that 5 rest. It's going to stay a 5. Every number after it is going to become a 0. Let's look at B. Same thing, rounding the thousands place. I'm going to circle my 4 in the thousands place and look next door, which is a 5. 5 is 5 or more, so I need to up that score. That 4 is going to go up one place, or up one digit rather, to a 5. And everything after it becomes a 0. Superb. Now we're going to mix things up a little bit. We're going to change some context to our numbers. We're still rounding to the thousands place, but you notice that there's a number in the 10,000s place, okay? Let's see how that plays into this. I'm going to follow the same steps we had before. I'm going to circle the thousands place and look next door to the right. So next door is a 0, which is 4 or less. So I'm going to put my 2, which is now less. Every number after it becomes a 0. And now this 4, we're also going to let rest. It's going to stay on that. So it's 42,000. That's not going to jump up to like 52,000. Remember, only rounding to the thousands place. Let's look at this one. So I'm going to circle my thousands place, which is the 1. Look next door, which is a 5. 5 is 5 or more. Raise the score. That 1 now becomes a 2. Everything after it becomes a 0. But everything before it stays the same. Even though I rounded up, everything before it stays the same. The only value that we're changing, only values we're changing is the thousands place and the numbers after it. Anything before it, we haven't rounded that high, so we don't need to change them. This is true for any number that you round. Let's look at this to the 10,000s. So my 2 is in the 10,000s place. I'm going to circle that. I'm going to look next door, which is a 6. 6 is 5 or more. So that 2 gets upped to 3, and there's 4 numbers after it, so there's 4 zeros. Let's look at this 10,000s here. 3 and a 4. Great. So 4 or less, so that 3 stays the same. Everything after it becomes a 0. Notice that even though we rounded 2 different numbers, 34,120 and 26,000, because of the way they've rounded, they both are about the same when we round into the 10,000s place. It's interesting because these numbers are about 8,000 values apart, but because of rounding, they're about the same. They're not equal, but they're about the same. So let's look at this. 10,000s here, 8, look next door, it's a 9, so that rounds up to a 9. Everything after it becomes a 0. So 90,000. and the number before it stays the same, 7. All right, let's look at this one. 10,000's place, there's a 0. Next door is a 6. 6 is 5 or more. Up that score to a 1. There's 4 numbers to the right, so 10,000. And that number before it, the 7, still stays 710,000. Excellent. Let's come down and look at a word problem. And with this, we're going to use our cubes method. Circle, underline, box, eliminate, solve. Okay. Let's read this word problem. It says, the 2012 Super Bowl had an attendance of just 68,658 people. If the headline in the newspaper the next day read, about 70,000 people attend Super Bowl, how did the newspaper round to estimate the total number of people in attendance? All right, let's circle the important numbers. We have 2012, that's just the year. It's not necessarily important, but it is, I guess, important to know. Not really worth circling because we're not going to do anything with that number. 68,658 people, definitely. And then the 70,000 as well. Okay. Now we're going to underline important keywords and measures. So we're measuring people, but we need to look at the keywords that tell us to round, since that is what we're working with. You can see when we see the words about, estimate, about and estimate, or estimate even in some contexts, they all mean to round. Okay, all of these mean to round. When you're estimating something, you're just rounding, you're estimating it, you're trying to see about how much something is. In this case, about as well. So the newspaper says there is about, and this is the symbol for it. See how it's almost like an equal sign? It means about. It's not quite equal, but it's close. So they're saying that there's 70,000, about 70,000 not plopple, people. We need to see if this is true. We also need to look for, now that I'm boxing, we need to look for how did they round. I should probably underline that round as well. We can eliminate anything that we don't need, which in this case is the beginning. And now let's solve it. So let's round 68,658. Let's see if this is true. And if it is, let's see how we do it. So it looks like the numbers that have changed looking at these that's been rounded is the 10,000s place. Notice how the 7 is the only number, the only digit that is there, and everything after it's a 0. That tells me they probably rounded the 10,000s place. So let's do the same here. For the sake of just showing contrast, I'm going to make this red. So I'm going to circle here, look next door. So next door is 8, it's 5 or more. I'm going to up that score to a 7. Everything after it becomes a 0. And yeah, that checks out. That's what we're looking for here. So it's asking how. I'm going to explain this. Okay, I'm going to say the newspaper rounded the exact number of people to the 10,000s place and found it to be about 70,000 people after rounding. And I'll circle that as well. Great. Okay, if you followed this far, we're going to go over one of our questions for our assessment, just kind of as a freebie, of course, for watching this whole video and practicing along as far as you have. So round to the nearest 10,000, 473,615. Let's find the 10,000s place. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. Circle it. It'll look next door. 3 is 4 or less. I'm going to let this rest, so it's going to become a 7. Everything after it's going to stay a 7. I'm sorry. And everything after it is going to become a 0. That 4 is going to stay the same. So my answer is 470,000, and I've found it to be about. Great. Okay, so if you need help, of course, to rewatch this video, I suggest even just pausing this video on the rules to help you give yourself a guide if you haven't written it down yet. As always, I look forward to seeing your work, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.